Learning to speak English fluently is one of the most rewarding yet challenging endeavors you can undertake. Whether you're learning English for career advancement, academic pursuits, travel, or personal enrichment, the ability to communicate confidently in the world's most widely spoken second language opens countless doors. This comprehensive guide will walk you through proven strategies, practical exercises, and mindset shifts that will transform your English speaking abilities from hesitant and uncertain to confident and natural. The beauty of language learning lies not in perfection, but in connection. Every time you speak English, even imperfectly, you're building bridges between cultures, ideas, and people. This guide recognizes that speaking is fundamentally different from reading or writing. It requires quick thinking, confidence, and the courage to make mistakes in real time. Let's embark on this journey together, exploring every aspect of what it takes to become a confident English speaker. Understanding the speaking challenge. Before diving into techniques and exercises, it's crucial to understand why speaking feels more difficult than other language skills. When you read English, you control the pace. You can pause, reread, and look up unfamiliar words. When you write, you have time to think, revise, and perfect your sentences. But speaking? Speaking happens in real time, with another person waiting for your response. The pressure of immediate communication triggers anxiety for many learners. You're simultaneously trying to recall vocabulary, construct grammatically correct sentences, produce proper pronunciation, and think about what you want to say, all while someone is watching and waiting. This cognitive load is immense, and understanding this helps you approach speaking practice with more patience and realistic expectations. Additionally, speaking involves physical coordination. Your tongue, lips, jaw, and vocal cords must work together to produce sounds that may not exist in your native language. English has approximately 44 phonemes, or distinct sounds, and many of these may be completely foreign to your mouth's muscle memory. This physical aspect of speaking is often overlooked, but is crucial to address in your practice. Building your foundation, the mindset of a confident speaker. Your mindset shapes your speaking success more than any technique or tool. Many learners sabotage their progress with perfectionism, comparing themselves to native speakers and feeling discouraged by every mistake. This section will help you cultivate the mental approach that accelerates learning. First, embrace mistakes as your most valuable teachers. Every error you make and recognize is a step forward. Native speakers don't judge mistakes as harshly as you imagine. They're usually impressed by your effort to speak their language. When you stumble over a word or use incorrect grammar, you're not failing, you're practicing. The learners who improve fastest are those who speak the most, not those who speak perfectly. Second, shift from a fixed to a growth mindset. Don't tell yourself, I'm bad at speaking English, or I'll never sound natural. Instead, recognize that speaking ability is a skill built through practice, not an innate talent. Tell yourself, I'm getting better every time I practice, or speaking is challenging right now, but I'm improving. This subtle shift in self-talk makes an enormous difference in your persistence and progress. Third, redefine fluency. Many learners believe fluency means speaking like a native, with no accent and perfect grammar. In reality, fluency simply means speaking smoothly and being understood. There are millions of fluent English speakers worldwide, with various accents and occasional grammatical quirks. Your goal should be clear communication, not perfection. Finally, celebrate small wins. Did you successfully order at a restaurant in English? Celebrate. Did you express a complex idea even if you had to pause and think? Celebrate. Did you understand someone's response and continue the conversation? Celebrate. These small victories build confidence and motivate continued practice. The input before output principle. Before you can speak well, you need substantial input. This principle is often overlooked by eager learners who jump straight into speaking without building a sufficient foundation. Think of language learning like filling a well. You need to pour water in before you can draw it out. Listening extensively to English in various contexts helps you internalize natural patterns, common phrases, and proper pronunciation. This isn't passive listening while distracted. It's active, engaged listening, where you pay attention to how words connect, how sentences flow, and how emotions are expressed through tone and rhythm. Watch English movies and series with subtitles initially, then gradually remove them as you improve. Listen to podcasts on topics that interest you. Watch YouTube videos about your hobbies. The key is choosing content you genuinely enjoy, because enjoyment ensures consistent engagement. If you force yourself to listen to boring content because it's educational, you'll quit within weeks. Shadowing is another excellent technique where you listen to a native speaker and try to speak simultaneously, matching their speed, pronunciation, and intonation. Start with short clips of 30 to 60 seconds, repeat them multiple times until you can shadow smoothly, then move to the next clip. This trains your brain to process and produce English at natural speed.
Pronunciation, the foundation of clear speaking. Pronunciation often intimidates learners, but improving it doesn't mean eliminating your accent completely. It means ensuring you're easily understood. Clear pronunciation prevents miscommunication and boosts your confidence because people understand you the first time. Start with individual sounds that don't exist in your native language. For example, many learners struggle with the TH sounds in think and this, or the distinction between V and W, or the various vowel sounds. Use online resources like Forvo or YouTube pronunciation videos to hear and practice these sounds in isolation before incorporating them into words and sentences. Word stress is critical in English. Unlike some languages where each syllable receives equal emphasis, English words have stressed syllables that are longer, louder, and higher in pitch. Incorrect word stress can make you incomprehensible even if your individual sounds are perfect. For example, record as a noun stresses the first syllable, while as a verb, it stresses the second syllable. Practice identifying and producing correct word stress in common vocabulary. Sentence stress and rhythm distinguish fluent speakers from beginners. English is a stress-timed language, meaning stressed syllables occur at regular intervals while unstressed syllables are compressed. Content words, nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are typically stressed, while function words, articles, prepositions, auxiliary verbs are reduced. This creates the characteristic rhythm of English. Listen to how native speakers say, "I want to go to the store." It sounds more like, "I want to go to the store," with the content words emphasized and function words reduced. Intonation conveys meaning beyond words. A rising intonation typically indicates questions or uncertainty, while falling intonation suggests statements or commands. Practicing intonation patterns makes you sound more natural and helps you express subtle meanings. Record news anchors or podcast hosts and mimic their intonation patterns, paying attention to how their voice rises and falls throughout sentences. Vocabulary for speaking: quality over quantity. Many learners obsess over memorizing thousands of words, but speaking fluency requires a different approach to vocabulary. You need instant access to the right words when you need them, and you need to know how to use them naturally in conversation. Focus on high-frequency words first. The 3,000 most common English words cover approximately 95% of everyday conversation. Master these thoroughly rather than learning obscure vocabulary you'll rarely use. These common words appear repeatedly in different contexts, so you'll have many opportunities to practice and internalize them. Learn words in context, not isolation. Instead of memorizing beautiful alone, learn phrases like beautiful weather, beautiful scenery, or beautiful performance. This approach helps you understand collocations, words that naturally go together in English. Native speakers don't think about which words combine, they automatically know make a decision sounds right, while do a decision sounds wrong. You build this intuition by encountering words in their natural contexts. Create a speaking vocabulary notebook separate from your general vocabulary list. This notebook should contain phrases and expressions you actually want to use in conversations. Organize it by topic, greetings and small talk, expressing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing, making suggestions, telling stories, and so on. Review this notebook daily and practice using these phrases in self-talk or imaginary conversations. Use the vocabulary actively within 24 hours of learning it. Passive recognition isn't enough for speaking. You need active recall. When you learn a new word or phrase, deliberately create opportunities to use it that same day. Describe your day using the new vocabulary. Write sentences with it, or use it in a language exchange conversation. This immediate use transfers words from short-term to long-term memory. Learn conversational fillers and discourse markers that buy you thinking time. Native speakers constantly use words like well, actually, you know, I mean, so, and anyway. These aren't meaningless. They signal transitions, show your thinking, soften statements, or emphasize points. Incorporating these makes your speech flow more naturally and gives you moments to formulate your next thought. Grammar for speaking, practical versus perfect. Grammar intimidates many learners, but speaking requires a different relationship with grammar than writing. In conversation, communication trumps grammatical perfection. Native speakers make grammatical errors constantly in casual speech. They use sentence fragments, start sentences one way and finish them another, and bend rules for emphasis or style. Focus on grammar that affects meaning. Mistakes in verb tense can create confusion about when something happened. Incorrect prepositions can change meaning significantly, but minor errors in articles or subject-verb agreement usually don't prevent understanding. Prioritize grammar structures that are essential for clear communication. Learn grammar through patterns, not rules. Instead of memorizing complex tense explanations, notice patterns through extensive input and practice. For example, recognize that when describing habits, native speakers use present simple. I wake up at 7 a.m. She works downtown. They play tennis on weekends. Absorb these patterns through exposure, then practice them until they feel automatic. Master the most common tenses first. The present simple, present continuous, past simple, and future with going to cover the vast majority of conversational needs. Many learners waste time studying rare tenses like past perfect continuous before they can comfortably use basic tenses. Build a strong foundation in everyday grammar before advancing to complex structures. Self-correction during speaking is a balancing act. If you catch an error that affects meaning, quickly correct yourself and continue. But don't interrupt the flow of conversation to fix minor errors. This disrupts communication and makes you seem less confident. After conversations, review common mistakes and practice the correct forms. But during the conversation itself, prioritize communication over perfection. Structured speaking practice. Daily routines that work. Consistent practice is the non-negotiable requirement for speaking improvement. Sporadic practice produces sporadic results,
while daily speaking, even just 15 to 30 minutes, creates steady, compound progress. Here are proven daily routines that fit various schedules and circumstances. Self-talk and thinking in English transforms dead time into practice time. Narrate your actions as you go about your day. I'm making coffee. First, I'll fill the kettle with water. Now I'm waiting for it to boil. I wonder what I should have for breakfast. This constant internal dialogue builds fluency because there's no pressure or judgment. You can pause, correct yourself, and experiment with different ways of expressing the same idea. Describe your environment in increasing detail. Start simply. I'm sitting in my living room. Then add details. I'm sitting on my comfortable gray couch in my living room. There's a window on my left and sunlight is streaming through. I can see people walking on the street below. This exercise expands your vocabulary and teaches you to elaborate on simple ideas, which is essential for conversation. Record yourself speaking for 2 to 3 minutes daily on different topics. Use prompts like, describe your perfect vacation. What did you do last weekend? Or, what are your career goals? Listen to these recordings and note areas for improvement in pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. Over weeks and months, you'll hear remarkable progress that motivates continued effort. Language exchange partners provide free, reciprocal practice. Apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Conversation Exchange connect you with native English speakers learning your language. Structure sessions so both people benefit. Perhaps 20 minutes in English, 20 minutes in your language. These conversations are low pressure because both people are learners, and you often make genuine friendships. Professional tutors or conversation partners offer structured practice. Platforms like italki, Preply, or Verbling let you book affordable one-on-one sessions focused on conversation. A good tutor provides topics, corrects major errors, teaches useful phrases, and builds your confidence. Even one 30-minute session weekly makes a significant difference when combined with independent practice. Conversation skills beyond basic English. Speaking isn't just about producing correct sentences, it's about engaging in meaningful exchanges. Conversation involves listening actively, responding appropriately, asking questions, showing interest, and managing the natural flow of dialogue. These skills are often neglected in language learning, but are essential for real-world communication. Active listening is the foundation of good conversation. Many learners are so focused on what they'll say next that they barely hear the other person. Practice listening fully, processing meaning, and responding genuinely rather than waiting for your turn to speak. If you don't understand something, ask for clarification. Like, could you repeat that? Or what do you mean by? Native speakers appreciate clarification questions. They show you're engaged. Asking follow-up questions keeps conversations flowing. When someone tells you something, show interest by asking for more details. If someone says, I went hiking last weekend, ask, where did you go? Or how was it? Or do you go hiking often? These simple questions extend conversations naturally and show genuine interest.
Learn conversation starters and small talk formulas. Every culture has standard opening moves. In English-speaking countries, weather, weekend plans, recent activities, and current events are common safe topics. Have a few go-to questions ready. How was your weekend? Have you been busy lately? Did you hear about... Small talk feels superficial, but serves an important function in building rapport before deeper conversation. Storytelling is a powerful skill that engages listeners and builds connection. Practice telling personal anecdotes with a clear structure. Set the scene, introduce a problem or interesting event, describe what happened, and conclude with the outcome or your reaction. Use vivid details, emotional language, and varied intonation to make stories come alive. Start with simple stories and gradually increase complexity. Learn to repair misunderstandings gracefully. When communication breaks down, and it will, don't panic. Use phrases like, let me try to explain it differently, or what I mean is, or maybe I should start over. If you can't think of a word, describe it. It's a thing you use to, or it's like a, but smaller. These strategies keep conversations moving despite vocabulary gaps.
Turn-taking and interrupting appropriately are subtle but important. In English conversation, speakers signal they've finished with falling intonation and a slight pause. Learn to recognize these signals rather than leaving long, awkward silences. If you need to interrupt politely, use phrases like, "Sorry to interrupt, but," or "Can I just add something?" Conversely, if you're interrupted, you can say, "Let me finish my thought," or simply continue speaking to hold your turn. Overcoming speaking anxiety. Fear is the biggest barrier to speaking practice for many learners. The anxiety of making mistakes, being judged, or not being understood can be paralyzing. This section addresses the psychological aspects of speaking confidence. Understand that anxiety is normal and even productive in small doses. It keeps you alert and focused, but excessive anxiety impairs performance. The goal isn't to eliminate nervousness completely, but to manage it so it doesn't prevent you from speaking. Exposure therapy works for language anxiety just as it does for other fears. Start with low-stakes situations where mistakes don't matter. Talk to yourself, speak to your pet, or practice with patient language exchange partners. Gradually increase the difficulty. Speak in online forums, then join video calls, then attempt face-to-face conversations. Each successful experience builds confidence for the next challenge. Prepare scripts and phrases for predictable situations. If you know you'll need to make a phone call in English, write out what you'll say beforehand. Have a mental script for ordering food, asking directions, or introducing yourself. This preparation reduces anxiety because you know exactly what you'll say. Over time, these scripts become internalized and automatic. Reframe negative thoughts. When you think, "Everyone will laugh at my mistakes," challenge that thought. Most people admire anyone learning a new language. Or, "Even if I make mistakes, I'm communicating successfully." When you think, "I'm terrible at English," counter with evidence. "I've improved significantly in the past 6 months." Or, "I successfully had a 10-minute conversation yesterday." Focus on communication success rather than linguistic perfection. After a conversation, instead of dwelling on errors, celebrate what went well. Did you understand the main points? Did the other person understand you? Did you express your ideas? These are the true measures of successful communication. Develop a pre-speaking routine that calms your nerves. Before a stressful English conversation, take deep breaths, remind yourself that mistakes are okay, and focus on the content of what you want to say rather than worrying about how you'll say it. Some people find it helpful to warm up with a few minutes of self-talk before important conversations. Technology and resources, tools for modern learners. Technology has revolutionized language learning, providing tools previous generations couldn't imagine. Used strategically, these resources dramatically accelerate your progress. Language learning apps offer structured practice. Duolingo, Babbel, and Memrise provide daily lessons that build vocabulary and grammar. While these shouldn't be your only resource, they're excellent for maintaining streaks and covering foundational material. The key is consistency. Even 15 minutes daily produces results over time. Pronunciation apps like Elsa Speak or Sounds, the pronunciation app, provide instant feedback on your pronunciation. These use speech recognition technology to identify which sounds you're producing incorrectly and offer targeted practice. They're like having a pronunciation coach available 24/7. Video platforms offer unlimited free content. YouTube channels like BBC Learning English, Ingvid, or Rachel's English provide lessons on every aspect of English. TED Talks offer engaging content from expert speakers on fascinating topics. Watching with subtitles helps you connect written and spoken English. Podcast apps let you learn on the go. Choose podcasts that match your interests: true crime, comedy, history, science, anything that keeps you engaged. Start with podcasts designed for learners, like 6-Minute English from the BBC, then progress to native-level podcasts as your comprehension improves. AI conversation tools like ChatGPT or Claude can provide speaking practice through text. While not replacing real conversation,
You can practice forming responses, asking questions, and receiving corrections in a zero-pressure environment. You can even role-play specific scenarios like job interviews or difficult conversations. Speech recognition software helps you practice pronunciation independently. Turn on voice typing in Google Docs or use your phone's dictation feature. If it accurately transcribes what you say, your pronunciation is clear. If it consistently misunderstands certain words, those are pronunciation priorities to work on. Online communities provide support and motivation. Join subreddits like r/English Learning, Facebook groups for English learners, or Discord servers dedicated to language exchange. These communities offer encouragement, answer questions, and provide opportunities to practice writing, which supports speaking by helping you formulate ideas. Cultural fluency, more than just words. True speaking competence includes cultural awareness. Languages don't exist in vacuum. They're embedded in cultural contexts with unspoken rules about politeness, humor, directness, and appropriate topics. Understand conversational norms in English-speaking cultures. Generally, English conversation values directness balanced with politeness. People appreciate honest opinions delivered tactfully. Questions are common and show interest, not nosiness, within boundaries. Humor often involves self-deprecation rather than putting others down. Learn about register, adjusting your language to context. How you speak with friends differs dramatically from how you speak in job interviews or with your boss. Casual conversation allows slang, contractions, and informal grammar, while formal situations require more careful word choice and complete sentences. Listen carefully to how native speakers adjust their language in different settings. Recognize that English isn't monolithic. British English differs from American English in vocabulary, pronunciation, and even grammar. Australian, Canadian, South African, and Indian English each have unique characteristics. Don't worry about choosing one correct version. Expose yourself to various types of English and communicate in whichever style you prefer. What matters most is consistency and clarity. Be aware of taboo topics and sensitive subjects. In many English-speaking contexts, religion, politics, and personal finances are avoided in casual conversation with acquaintances. Age and weight are sensitive topics. However, these norms vary by region and relationship. Close friends might discuss anything. When uncertain, follow the other person's lead. Idioms and cultural references pepper native speaker conversation. While you don't need to master thousands of idioms, learning common ones helps you understand and participate more fully. When you hear an unfamiliar idiom or reference, ask about it. Native speakers usually enjoy explaining these aspects of their culture. Measuring progress and staying motivated. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Progress sometimes feels invisible, especially in the intermediate plateau, where daily improvement is subtle. Measuring progress and maintaining motivation are crucial for long-term success. Set specific, measurable goals rather than vague aspirations. Instead of improve my speaking, aim for have a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker about my hobbies, or present a 5-minute talk about my hometown without reading notes. These concrete goals provide clear targets to work toward. Track your practice in a learning journal. Note what you practiced each day, new phrases you learned, conversations you had, and breakthrough moments. This record becomes invaluable when you feel discouraged. You can look back and see tangible evidence of how far you've come. Record yourself speaking on the same topic every month. This creates powerful motivation because you'll hear undeniable progress. The hesitations, pauses, and simple vocabulary of early recordings will contrast sharply with later fluent, natural speech. Vary your practice to prevent boredom. If you're tired of conversation practice, spend a day on pronunciation drills. If you're burned out on textbooks, watch a movie. If structured learning feels stale, have a casual chat with a language partner. Variety maintains engagement while still moving you forward. Remember your why. When motivation wanes, reconnect with your original reasons for learning English. Do you want to study abroad? Advance your career? Connect with English-speaking friends or family? Travel confidently? Keeping your ultimate purpose in mind helps you push through temporary frustration.
common pitfalls, and how to avoid them. Understanding common mistakes helps you avoid them or recognize and correct them quickly. Many learners follow ineffective strategies that slow their progress. Overstudying grammar and under-practicing speaking is perhaps the most common error. You can know every grammar rule perfectly, but still struggle to speak if you haven't practiced actual conversation. Grammar study should support speaking practice, not replace it. Aim for a ratio of at least 3-to-1, 3 hours of speaking practice for every hour of grammar study. Translating from your native language word by word creates awkward, unnatural English. Languages have different structures and logic. Practice thinking in English directly rather than formulating sentences in your native language and translating them. This happens naturally with extensive input and practice. Avoiding speaking until you're ready is a trap that keeps you perpetually unprepared. You'll never feel completely ready. There will always be more words to learn or grammar to master. Start speaking from day one, even if it's just simple sentences to yourself. The only way to get ready is to practice. Neglecting pronunciation in favor of vocabulary and grammar limits your effectiveness. You might know 10,000 words, but if people can't understand your pronunciation, communication breaks down. Balance your practice across all skills. Studying in isolation without feedback means you might be reinforcing errors. Even if you can't afford regular tutoring, seek occasional feedback from native speakers, language exchange partners, or online communities. Knowing what to work on is half the battle. Comparing yourself to others creates unnecessary discouragement. Your classmate might speak better, but perhaps they've been studying longer, have different native language advantages, or simply have more time to practice. Focus on your personal progress. Are you better than you were last month? That's what matters. Giving up too early is perhaps the saddest mistake. Many learners quit right before they're about to break through to a new level. Language learning has plateaus where progress feels invisible, but consistent practice during these periods leads to sudden jumps in ability. Trust the process and persist through frustration. Conclusion: your speaking journey starts now. Speaking English fluently is absolutely achievable for you. It doesn't require special talent or perfect circumstances. It requires consistent practice, strategic approaches, and patient persistence. Thousands of learners before you have traveled from hesitant beginnings to confident fluency, and you can too. Remember that every expert speaker was once a beginner who felt exactly the way you feel now, uncertain, nervous, and perhaps overwhelmed. What separated those who achieved fluency from those who didn't wasn't innate ability. It was simply that they kept practicing, kept speaking, and refused to let mistakes stop them. Start today, right now. Don't wait until you finish this guide, or until you've studied more grammar, or until you feel ready. Have a conversation with yourself about what you ate for breakfast. Describe your room in English. Find a language partner online and schedule your first conversation. Take that first small step, then another, then another. Your journey won't be linear. Some days you'll feel like a genius, and others you'll struggle with basic phrases. This is normal. Every learner experiences these fluctuations. What matters is the overall trajectory, not daily ups and downs. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. You're doing something difficult and worthy of respect, learning to communicate in a language that isn't your native tongue. Every time you speak English, even imperfectly, you're building skills that will serve you throughout your life. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say in English. Your unique perspective, experiences, and ideas deserve to be shared. Don't let fear of mistakes rob the world of your voice. Speak up, speak out, and speak often. Your English-speaking journey doesn't have a finish line. It's a lifelong adventure of continuous improvement. But there absolutely is a moment when speaking stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling natural, even enjoyable. That moment is closer than you think, waiting just on the other side of consistent practice and courageous effort. Welcome to your speaking journey. Let's begin.